Is there a sign? We need to know if there's a sign.
I love
Okay,
it.
we got everything lined up for tonight. We got our guests tucked away for tonight. We've got Alan who's going to try to give us some graphic support, but we gave it to him late, so we can't blame him. That's kind of on
Actually, we could, but we just choose not to tonight.
us. Woo. These last couple of weeks, Ruth has been on fire.
What she got in that mug?
What has been happening? Must be that little spongy mug.
Okay, okay.
I'm talking about a spongy mug. You want to know what's in it?
That's it.
That might be the real question.
Uh-oh.
I'm playing.
Look, we're gonna do our we're still gonna do our weekend review, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And then
Yes.
Victoria, you're gonna roll us back around and we're gonna talk about the event.
We'll do it.
And that's okay. That's good. I think we got everything lined up for that. By any chance, well, no, we don't need the address or anything because you can
Mm-mm.
to the link, so that'll be good.
Yeah, no, we'll just
Get
say
that
it's for
on.
our local people, or if you're in the area. Because who knows, you might be traveling from Canada down to Raleigh, North Carolina, or somewhere warmer.
We have somebody, I think, trying to make arrangements to come in from California. So we'll have West Coast in the house, and
Awesome.
South Carolina's coming up.
That's
Yay,
exciting.
yay. So good, happy about that. And I'm not sure about Florida. We got a listener in Florida who may be coming. You never know. So that would be good if that is what happens. But I think we're all set for tonight.
I think we are.
All right, everybody, it's time.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Time to roll.
Victoria, I like your necklace.
Here we go. Here we go, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Well, good. What in the world?
I was letting the music move through
She
me.
was in the.
Good evening, everyone else. I
Hello.
don't know what's said by my host down here, but good evening, everybody else.
I was letting the music move me.
I don't need to ask how you are, Victoria. I can see that
She's
you
fine.
I am wonderful.
Miss Ruth, how about you? How you doing tonight?
Not as well as Victoria, but apparently, but good.
Apparently. And let's see who's come on this evening. Hey there, Francina. Francina's been traveling and doing some great
Oh,
things.
she's our
Yes.
world
Breast
traveler.
cancer awareness and all that good stuff. She's been up in DC with the lawmakers. So we're glad that you're back,
Yes.
Francine, and thank you for being on tonight. And Linda Cooks is in the house. Good
Hey,
evening to
Linda.
you, Linda. I see Angie down there, our South Carolina connection. Good evening to you, Miss Angie. And Miss Lynn is on the line tonight.
Hey,
Hey
Lynn.
there, Lynn. Good to have you as well. So we know we've got some more people coming in. And Alan, if you can, if there are people from other places, I know sometimes Spain is on Sunday and sometimes Jamaica is in. So if there's anybody else who pops in
Canada
that you
and
want,
anybody else in podcast land, welcome.
yep,
That's right. And for those who will listen later on,
That's right.
we love you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us.
That's right. And just put that, if you can put those countries up for us, Alan, we would surely appreciate that so we can give them a personalized welcome to Authors Up. And We're going to go ahead and get started like we usually do, and we're going to start with the week in review. And Ruth, why don't you kick us off tonight?
Sure. I am excited to say that. So remember our writing challenge from a few weeks ago?
Mhm.
And my little offering, which left you all at a cliffhanger.
What?
So I've got my treatment together. I started putting my character profiles together. I am so excited.
You've been
Uh,
busy.
oh yeah, no, I'm ready. November 1st come, I'm gonna start right. I already know how I'm gonna start it. I know how I'm gonna end it. So
Awesome.
Sick of her.
yes.
Sick of her.
Come on, I just want to
Awesome.
model everything I tell you guys
Oh,
every week.
Right.
So
That's right.
I am just excited, and I'm going to be sharing the journey on social media and on the authors up. So I'll let you guys know, how the story progresses. I think it's probably going to be about the same size as my other books, maybe about 50, 60,000 words.
Mhm.
Full-blown
Did you
novel.
notice how she just rolls that off?
I know, right?
Look, I can't write anything less. So I've tried.
This is a good
You know.
story. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's so exciting. And I just, a lot, it's a personal story. Certainly not one that I thought would be put together, but the amazing part is that, and I want to encourage you guys, you guys and anyone listening, if you have ideas, just write them down. If they're
Yeah.
not for now, they're certainly for later.
They for
I
later.
ended up using 5 ideas that I've written between the last 15 years
Yeah.
that I've saved that I thought, "Oh, I'll write this book one day." And just as I was putting together my treatment, I was like, "Oh, I can put that there and put that there and that there, and
Wow.
it'll fit perfectly." So don't ever just dismiss an idea. It's there for a reason.
Mhm.
And
Right.
eventually, if you're walking down that path of writing and all that, you will get a chance to use it. So I am truly excited, and I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with everybody. So
Wow. I'm
that's my
excited.
weekend
Forward to
review.
I'm
it too.
excited. I'm excited.
Christina Harrison said just 50,000.
Right?
Yeah, can you imagine, Christina? That's all? What in the world? What's that about?
Really? Not gonna be 70, 80?
Hey, well, I'm
Don't
only giving myself
judge her,
30
'cause
days.
it
So
will be nothing for her to go there and do that. I tell you.
When the author says they're excited,
mhm.
Yeah.
I'm excited. When Ruth says she's excited and her
Yes.
eyes actually lit up, I'm excited.
Well, good. I'm
And
glad. I want to share this
Marsha
with you guys.
Marcellus has joined us also. I want to be
Awesome.
sure to give her a shout out. Good evening, Marsha, and you, Christina, as well. Glad to have you guys on the line with us tonight. So was that it for your? I feel like there's more. Was that it?
Well, that's all for right now.
Oh,
So
that's all for right
I
now.
I will share it with you guys now.
Oh,
So Andrea, how was your week like?
well, it didn't come close to 50,000 words,
Well, I haven't put
or
50,000 yet.
60,
So yeah,
or
we'll
40,
get there.
or 30. I did do some writing, but it
Okay.
was nothing near that.
Good deal.
But I look, I went out and I had some fun, y'all.
Oh,
Good.
where'd you
I
go?
went to the movies and I went to see The Woman King.
All
Oh,
right.
how
Good
was
for
that?
you. Was it good?
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
When
That's it.
when Authors Up is over tonight, get you a ticket. Go tonight. Go see it.
Okay.
Go see it as soon as you can go and see it,
We'll
because
do.
it
I've
is
heard good
absolutely
things about it.
amazing. And it one thing that I loved about it is, how we go on social media and always give
Mm,
our opinions about something, and it seems like there's always something negative to be said.
right.
But
Mhm.
so far, I have not seen any negative anything.
Wow.
And people have expressed it in very few words, which I think is interesting also. Most of the
Wow.
time they
Wow.
are saying, go see this movie,
Yeah.
or this is a good one, or I thoroughly enjoyed it. Because I'm going to tell you, for me, it left me kind of speechless. I mean, it just left me in that space of
Oh,
saying,
wow.
wow, this is a must see.
Well, all
This is a
right.
must see. So if
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say about my week last week? That was the highlight of it. Was going to
All
see that.
right.
Of course, the popcorn was good too. I mean,
Yeah, movie popcorn's always good.
some snacks, had some snacks, But I tell you, it is well worth it. If Viola Davis does not pull a statue out of this one, I just
Wow.
I don't know. She has my utmost respect as an actress. She is amazing. She is really amazing
Wow.
to have pulled off that kind of role. I'm not going to say any more about it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. Christina said the movie was
Yes.
beyond good. It was stellar. See, again and again, it made me think I could do anything.
Oh, wow.
Meaning,
Wow.
it didn't carry me quite that far, Christina. I'm
know
still
what?
having trouble getting up off the couch and going to the car. But for those women who trained, to
Oh.
God be all the glory, because they
We gotta go
worked
see it.
that
We gotta go see it.
out.
We gotta go see it.
Yeah, no, I saw some promotional videos of Viola Davis talking about the regimen that they went
Yeah.
through to train for those characters, those
Yeah.
scenes, and it was just, I mean,
She said it was brutal.
yeah,
Wow.
but I mean,
To see it,
We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
and I'm with Christina, because I am definitely going again.
Well, I have to just jump in here and say my feelings are hurt
oh,
Why?
because you went to the movies and didn't invite us.
Albert
And then-
invited.
Wait. And last week, Ruth went to a wow and didn't invite us.
See, I couldn't invite you on somebody else's invitation.
I know that's,
Okay?
but that's okay.
Okay,
I'm just going to gloss over that and tell you about my week.
yes,
I want to tell y'all about my week and my magazine article. Remember the one that I kept telling y'all I finally I turned it in.
It was
So
good.
the article went live, and I'm going to share it in the comments on Facebook. My article finally went live, and so y'all can check it out. In
nice,
Canvas Rebel. There you go. So I'm
awesome.
pleased. I'm proud of it. Yes. And I finally got my pictures back from my photo shoot that I did. So I'm, that was good. Just
Good. You got
That's
everything
exciting.
rounded up.
So that is it. That is it for me. That's all I'm gonna say about myself, because I want us to get through all this part so we can get to the author. But we're gonna talk a little bit about our intimate evening with Authors Up. Tell us, Ruth, what do they have to do?
Okay, so we are doing a live show. For those in the Raleigh area, I'm sorry, we're not touring quite yet. We're not going to California or Canada or Spain. I mean, I think we'll eventually get there.
It
But
can happen.
oh yeah, no, I'm not ruling it out. It just we got to start somewhere. So we're going to start in Raleigh on October 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. We are just excited. We've got a great agenda planned for that day, and just we now go on to our social media, Authors Up on Facebook and on Instagram, and we've included a link for you guys to register. That way we can prepare for you. That way we know how much, well, refreshments and products and just how much space to prepare, because we are excited. We want a full audience. We want to share this moment with you guys, and we hope that you will join us if you'll be in the area. If you want to travel to the area, we're
October
right here.
15th.
So,
October 15th.
yeah. So, Andrea, what's the format for that day?
Well, I tell you what, we're going to have some live interviews that we're going to do to be used as sound bites for Authors Up throughout the year and on all the platforms that we have that are available. We have a very special guest and a special reveal. And we're going to leave that there. I don't want to spoil it, but I do want to tell you this. You want to register now.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Register now. Look at your calendar. See what you've got on your calendar, because the spacing is limited, and because of everything that we're trying to do with the taping and all, we want to make sure that we have enough time to get everything done and do it in decency and in order. This is the first of what we hope and look for to be an annual event. So we want you to be a part of it. There's something about being at the first of anything,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
the premiere of something, being at the first show. Or I was there when they did that for the first time. So be able to say that you were there for the first time. Look at that Angie Cooks from South Carolina. Angie said,
Oh.
I'll be there. Already registered. You better go ahead, Angie. Don't let Angie outdo you all. Get registered so that you can be at the event with us.
All
We'll
right.
be
And
talking
Yes.
about it some
I
more.
put the link in the Facebook comment, so hopefully we'll get some more people to register. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
While space allows.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed.
All right.
Indeed. So, Victoria, you got something, or you want me to go ahead?
I think it's time. We have a wonderful author waiting in the wings. So why don't you
Okay.
start with the bio, Miss
Let me
Cynthia?
let me hurry and get this said. As a native of Queens, New York, Leah M. Forney is no stranger to Authors Up. She is an 8-time published author, a transformative speaker, your visibility activator. I love that. Podcast host of international streamed Hey Queen Thrive, and she is a sexual assault thriver and advocate. She's the CEO and founder of Purposely Faithful LLC, which is her coaching and consulting firm specializing in working with women of color with a desire to increase their visibility while making impact and profitability through the power of storytelling.
As a sexual assault thriver and advocate, Leah has used her survivor story to train law enforcement on how to bridge the gap between victims and law enforcement, as well as train Attorney General's office. She is a member of the Maryland Women of Color Network, where she meets monthly to discuss issues that impact women of color regarding sexual violence and the legislation that needs to change.
Leah is an award winning author and has joined us tonight to discuss her newest book, Born to be Unbound. When we return from our break, I want you to help me welcome Leah Forney back to Authors Up.
Welcome, 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 welcome back.
Welcome, Queen
How
Leah.
Hey y'all. Thank y'all for having me back.
Of course. You're like, an old friend. We don't have to tell you where the food is in
Yes,
the fridge or just, sit wherever you want. Just
that's right. That's
you're
right.
welcome.
Come on in.
That's it. That's it. So, Leah, I think this is the first time you've been back since we changed formats, right?
Yeah. I love the
Awesome.
new format, honestly.
Awesome. So everybody gets to see you now, and that is
Yes.
awesome. And we want to talk about your latest book, Born to be
Mhm.
Unbound. And, I'll have to say, I had the privilege of helping you edit and read the book before it was published. And it had, I want to say, a different feel from your other books. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So Born to Be Unbound is definitely different from all the other books. It is the first book I have written from a healed place. So in this book, you'll really get a sense of what my healing journey was like for the last 4 years.
Mhm,
So backstory: 4 years ago, I lost my fiance along with four other
mhm,
people. So 2018, 2019 was a very rough year for me.
Mhm.
A lot of grief, a lot of loss. And it took, and I don't think none of y'all knew this, but it took almost a fatal car accident for me to finally decide that now was the time to deal with my grief, because it was dealing with me, as Bishop Godby would say. So I ended up in what would have been a head-on collision. I mean, literally,
wow.
God stopped it. I haven't just been driving, crying my eyes out, dealing with the grief. And all I remember was blacking out behind the wheel
Wow.
Oh,
and
wow.
literally hearing the blaring sound of the other driver's horn that really snatched me back out. And in that moment, I heard God say to me, "Are you going to finally deal with it? Because it's dealing with you." And so that was the catalyst. That was the moment that I made a decision to go to therapy.
Mhm.
So when I started therapy, I thought I was just going for the death of my fiance at the time. Little on the whole, God begins to peel back the layers. And I realized that I had spent most of my life grieving. If anybody that's read any of my previous works, I'm the daughter of two addicts, so grief and loss was all I knew. And I had never dealt with it. So I got intentional about my healing journey. I got intentional about asking God to reveal those parts of me that still needed some work on, that I still needed to heal. And so I journaled, I prayed, I fasted, I went to therapy. And maybe about a year and a half ago, God began to talk to me about this book, Born to be Unbound. And I said, well, okay, God, well, what does this mean? And really the message behind it is to get others to understand that God has created you with this freedom. And that you don't have to wait till you die to get there, that you can have this freedom right here on earth. But there's a process. There's some things you're going to have to confront. There's some healing that you're going to have to do. And so when he began to talk to me about the book, all he gave me was Isaiah 61. And in that particular scripture, he talks about this particular freedom that he has given us, that we all have. And so that is what the book is rooting on, is Isaiah 61. And yeah, so it's different because I'm sharing the healing journey. I'm sharing what it is like to really do the work. And so that's why it's different than all the others. I think the previous books, I really gave insight to my pain. Now
I just want to say one thing. Could you say what you did again? You said you prayed.
I prayed. I went to therapy. I fasted. I journaled. Yep.
You did those things together. So she had Jesus and therapy. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because you don't have to choose. I think that a lot of people that have a religious upbringing feel like they have to choose, that they have to choose their relationship with God over therapy. And you literally can have both. You can have the cross and the couch. There
Come
is
on.
I like that.
Come on.
Oh, I like that.
Cross
Yes. Love it.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So let me ask you this. Was it harder or easier to write this book as opposed to your other ones?
Honestly, I feel like this one was a little harder because there were experiences that God was bringing up to me that I didn't even realize I had, that was still carrying.
Wow.
And like one part of the book, I talk about the words of my grandmother and not realizing that the things that she used to say to me as a child, how they still impacted me in my adulthood. So there were different areas that God began to reveal that I was like, oh, wait, I didn't know that. I was still carrying that. So it was a lot of revelation that came with this book.
Awesome. Awesome. So how were you able to write it a little quicker, or is it something that you had to ruminate on as you wrote it? Did it process take any longer than when you wrote your other ones?
The process didn't really take as long as I have written before. I pretty am good at writing a manuscript within 45 days if I sit down and get it done. And so honestly, most of the book got written during the Christmas holiday.
Right.
I was home. I decided not to travel that year. When you have elderly grandparents and then COVID was still at its height, it was like, I'm going to be home. And so I was just binge watching TV and decided, you know what, now's a good time to sit down and finish writing the book. And so that's how it got done. Like I sat down, and by the end of the Christmas holiday, my manuscript was done.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome.
So, let me ask this: is this your last book?
So listen, I call it the grand finale for a reason. I definitely believe that God is shifting me.
Okay.
I will not say that it's the last time I will ever write. I think that I will now write from a more business perspective because that's
Okay.
the space that I'm in. But yeah, it's the age, new beginning time. No.
See, and that's awesome because I think, you speaking, talking about, okay, God directed you to write this one, God healed you, He's moving you on to what your purpose is, and what you can do for His kingdom. And sometimes that requires shifting and saying, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to focus on being a writer. Maybe I'm not going to focus on what brought me to this place. So,
Yeah.
you never know. And I mean, you have accomplished a lot since your first book.
Yeah.
So, how has that changed you, changed your perspective, from book 1 to book 8, healing aside?
I think the young girl in book one didn't really know what she wanted to do with her life. Didn't really have a clear vision about what God was calling her to do. She was still a babe in Christ. She
Mhm.
kind of knew what it meant to pray, and because of how her grandmother raised her. But the woman in book 8, she's very clear. She's very clear who she is. She knows who she is. She knows who she is.
Mhm.
And she's all sold out for her purpose. Like I tell myself every day, I wake up every day to do God's work. And I'm going to keep doing it until the day He calls me home. And so, whoever's life He wants me to touch, in whichever capacity He wants me to touch it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Amen.
Awesome.
Amen.
Awesome. One last question. Did you ever see yourself in the place you're at now?
Absolutely not. Listen, fun fact about me. I personally do not
Mhm.
like the spotlight. I would rather be behind the scenes. I would rather nobody know my name. But that wasn't God's plan. So honestly, it's a daily task of embracing where He's got me, embracing
Mhm.
the spotlight, embracing that people know my name, embracing where He's taken me. And I have to do it every single day because it's uncomfortable.
Wow.
Well, you wear it well, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, you got any questions?
Well, not after you. No.
Okay.
Ask my question. We fight over this every week, y'all. So don't get
She
disturbed.
said what I wanted to say. She said it.
She said
I
what
just want to
I
say,
was gonna say. Let me just say a welcome and shout out to Robin Ellison Hamilton. Glad to have you on the line. I think this may be one of the first times that you've been on with Authors Up, so we're happy to have you with us tonight and to meet this great author that we have, Leah Forney. Leah, I wanted to know, did you envision when you did your first book,
Mhm.
because there seems to be a progression in the way that you told the story of you, and I'll put it that way, the story of you. um, did you see it going that way? Did you say, okay, this is what I want to deliver? I want the people to know this. I want them to know that this is how they can go through whatever, and I'm going to do it as, I'm going to tell this part of the story here, and this part of the story here, and this part of the story here? Or was it just that you did the book and you finished the book, and then you said, you know what, I think I ought to write this? How did that go for you? Because you're so clear
Mhm.
now about this journey, that you have shared all
Yeah.
of these things that you have been through, and now that you have gotten to this place. And it's interesting that you said what you said, because there was someone that I knew that said, I want to write this book and I have a lot to share, a lot to say. And I said, that's wonderful, but I don't think God's going to allow you to do it until you get to a place of healing.
Mhm.
You're at a place where of triumph, and a place of victory, then I think he's going to let you tell your story. But I don't think he's going to let you tell it before that. So tell us, although we're focusing on this 8th book, tell us how those first 7 were crafted to get you to the 8th. And I know God told you, I know you heard from him, and I know all of that. But you know where I'm going. Let's pull that curtain. And how did all of that work?
So I will say, after I wrote the first one, Unapologetically Me and Ruth worked on that book. I was done, y'all. Like, I was like, all right, cool. I think writing a book for me at first was like a bucket list thing. It was like, check, got that done. Move on to the next thing. But one thing that I have learned in my relationship with God is that when he's called you to something, it's never a one and done. There's always something else he wants you to do. There's always a further step he wants you to take. And so as I continue to just kind of work on me and grow, he would begin to reveal things. Mm-hmm. And that's how all the other books came. He began to reveal titles. So I always tell people, when God gives me a book, 1 of 2 ways he's going to reveal it. He's either going to give me a title with no chapters, or he's going to give me a title and the chapters. And usually if he gives me the title and the chapters, I'm like, all right, is that the one? That's the book. Okay, cool. Once I confirm, like, yeah, that's the book, I spent a lot of time just kind of in prayer, talking, okay, so where are we going with this book? What is the direction of this book? I think he created it as a building block, because I think the purpose behind all my books is for people to see, one, that there's life after anything that you go through, but then also that if you trust God in your own process, that you can make it on the other side. And I'll say, I used to tell people that pain had purpose. And one thing that God shared with me on my writing journey was that you are purpose. You are created with a purpose. You are here on purpose. And so your pain doesn't really have purpose. It has power, but it's up to you to tap into the power. And so with each one of my books, that's exactly what I'm showing people, is how to turn your pain into power. We know that the Bible tells us that we overcome by the words of our testimony. And so one thing that God revealed to me when I was writing Born to be Unbound is how the enemy tries to trap us by giving us fear to share what it is that we've been through. Right. And so the way that I have been able to kind of combat the devil is that I share it. Anybody that's read any of my books is very transparent, very real, raw, and rugged. And I do that because God has shown me that's how you snatch back the keys from the devil. That's how you take control back, right? Is that by you telling it. And so each of my books, I believe he did it that way because he wanted people to see that there are different glimpses of my life, but he also wanted them to see the process, because each book, there's a process as to how I got here to book number 8.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, these are good nuggets. Pain into power, from the couch and the cross and your prayer, and drop the mic. I'm done. Victoria, you got it.
Well, Leah and I have had this conversation before, and she keeps saying this was her last book, but I think God gave you a title tonight: The Cross and the Couch. I heard it. Did anybody else hear that?
You heard it here first.
The Cross and the Couch. And we joke, but it's very serious.
Yeah.
And somebody needs to tell people that you can have mental health therapy and still love Jesus and still live a productive life with therapy. And I don't know. And if anybody could tell it, you can, sis. You can. And I have to tell everybody. I've had a front row seat to some of the things that you have gone through. And I am so stinking proud of you. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. We have been through some things over the years, and to watch how you have taken, everybody knows I love a victory story. I love that victory story. You have a victory story. You didn't stay stuck in feeling, woe is me. This is all there is for me. Even though you didn't know how you want to get through it, especially when Joseph passed. You didn't know how you want to get through the other side. You didn't see that other side, but you kept getting up. You kept showing up. and you did the darn thing, and you're still doing it. So I want you to tell our listeners how you changed your directions a little bit and transition, from not just writing. Tell them what you are doing now, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, what am I doing? Geez, I swear.
What are you not
What are
doing?
you not doing?
Yeah, maybe we start there.
There we
You know that.
Amen, Trelyn said therapy can lead to a productive life. Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah, God is amazing. I will tell you the clarity and the vision and direction really came back in March, and Victoria was a part of it. God had instructed me to do a 21-day fast with 21 women about our businesses, and at least that's what I thought it was. But really, in that 21 days, he began to really help me get clear on me, and but not clear about just where he was taking me, but about who Leah Michelle Forney was. And he began to show me parts of me that again were still wounded, still things that I had to work on and deal with. And so I will say the more that I continue to get clear, and I get clear, I do it every single day. I tap in with myself and just kind of see where God is taking me. The more that he's been able to show me the other parts of me. Because one thing that I did do was I got comfortable being an author. And it took several people to say, there's more to you than just the author. Like, stop being so comfortable there. Stop being so comfortable there. And so by the time I've heard it 5 times, I'm like, all right, God, well, let's talk about it. Because I keep hearing there's more to me being an author. And at the time, I had already had the podcast. And even that, never in my wildest dreams thought that I would have an internationally streamed podcast. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I think that people would tune in every Thursday to hear an episode. But that was even him, because I remember going to sleep and him revealing the vision of the podcast. And so from there, little by little, he began to show me, like, he was calling me to women. He was calling me to women that were just like me, who had a desire to live this life that he has called them, who had a desire to be, more visible, to make the impact they truly want to do, to tell the stories they truly want to tell. And so from the podcast, became the filmmaker, just produced my very first documentary in June. That's prayerfully will be have released out this year.
All right.
And then I do sexual assault advocacy. The thing is, I was always an advocate behind sexual assault because I had been a survivor. What really sparked it, though, was June of last year, getting the phone call that they had finally tested my rape kit 8 years after my assault. And so in that moment, I really said, okay, God, if I have to relive this part of my life, how do I do it where it's bigger than me?
Right.
And so I had already had friends who were advocates who I had reached out to, and they were like, listen, you need to partner with these organizations. And so that's what I did. And that's how I got into training law enforcement and training the attorney generals. And that same organization just hired me full time this year.
Yeah.
All right.
And liaison. So I get to continue to sit at the table with legislation and really share from a survivor's perspective what's really happening for us. And then from there became the member of Maryland Women of Color Network, where we're serious about helping to stop sexual violence, especially in underserved populations. Like, we don't just focus on women of color, but all transgender, all the populations that it's happening to. So I'm just grateful that I did not allow my pain to keep me stuck. And I think that's what happens when many of us, we get stuck in where we're at. And God is like, I promised you in Jeremiah 29:11, that is my go-to scripture, where he reminds me daily, I know the plans I have for you. Right? I stand on that scripture. So even in the moments where I want to give up, or I want to be like, I can't do it, God is like, but I told you in Jeremiah 29:11, I got the plans. Just trust me. So it's been a faith walk. It's been a trusting him, even in moments when I ain't trace him. But one thing that I will say is that I know his resume. He's never failed me. It speaks for itself. And so I just lean on his resume, and I remind him, God, you said, and then I watch him do what he said, because he will do exactly what he said he's going to do.
Oh, I wanted to also, we haven't talked as much about the book as we wanted to, but I love looking at all the titles of the different chapters. One really stuck out to me, and I want you, you know, in these few minutes we have to speak about it. Now, I want to say, first of all, y'all, get the book. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book. It's Born to be Unbound. Some of the chapters, identifying the baggage that's holding you back. Chapter 7, change your perspective. Chapter 9, freedom is your birthright. That's powerful. That's powerful. And chapter 11, your time is now.
Yeah.
But I want you to speak to somebody. If they ask you about chapter 12, God granted you permission to grow.
Yeah.
What would you tell our listeners that chapter is about? God granted you permission to go.
Yeah. You know what? The backstory behind that is, so I spoke at a conference back in 2020, and our mantra at the conference was green light means go. And so anytime we said green light, that was our way of giving our sister, our neighbor, the permission to go. Whatever it is that God has given you, whatever he has placed on the inside of you, he has already granted you the permission. You know, one of the things that we always do is we say, oh, I'm waiting on God. And God is he, and I'm guilty of it because I used to say it all the time. God, I'm waiting on you. And he like, no, I'm waiting on you. Like, go ahead, take the step. I need you to write the book. I need you to, you know.
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of time saying that we're waiting on him. And when I was writing that book, God brought me back to that moment in that conference where he's like, I've granted you the permission. Go. You don't have to, you know, wait on me anymore. Like just like he told Abraham, go and I'll show you the place. Like, I just need you to take the first step. So what I would say is that whatever God is telling you to do in this season, in this hour, in this time, he's granted you the permission. You literally have everything you need to get it done.
Amen.
All you got to do is take the first step and not worry about what's to come. Because what I have learned is he's not the God of many details. He's going to be like, go, jump, turn left. And that's as far as we're going to go, you know? And we as human beings, we want details. And so trusting him is really surrendering to the details. All right, God, I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm going to take this first step. And watch what he does once you take that first step. You'd be amazed. And so that's what that chapter is about, is really getting my readers to understand that whatever it is that you believe that God has placed on the inside of you to do, this is the time to do it. This is your season. This is your hour. You do not have to wait for nobody else. You don't need no validation from nobody else. God didn't already said do it. So now you just got to walk in it.
Amen. Amen. Can you tell our fantastic listeners and watchers how they can find the book, say again the title, and how they can find the book and how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so
I think Alan has your links to Leah. So Alan, if you can put those up for us as Leah gives them to us, then that would be great, and that would be helpful if you can do that.
yeah, so Born to be Unbound is everywhere where books are sold. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble. It is in paperback, hard copy, and ebook, so you can grab it in all three. Audiobook coming soon. I'm working
Right.
Awesome.
who like to listen to it on audio. But then you could just find me. I'm on all the social media platforms as Leah Forney. You cannot miss it. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, all of the platforms. So you can't miss it.
Because you have what? Digital credit. That's what it is. If you Google Leah, you will find her. She's Googleicious.
Oh God.
Yeah. That I am.
I am just so proud of you. And y'all got to go get the book. I wrote the foreword. Shameless plug.
Yeah, God. Listen.
Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. And like I said, I love victory stories, and yours is definitely one of victory. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up, child.
I love it.
Well, Leah, I tell you, you have given us a lot in a little bit of time. You have given us a lot to think about.
Thank you.
You have given us a lot about you and what you're doing. And I love the fact that when you're talking about pain and purpose and all of that, it would be a wonderful thing if when we decide to be transparent, that we truly are transparent with the intentionality to help somebody else.
Yes.
And you haven't just said, oh, I got a podcast and I'm so happy I got an international podcast. This is a wonderful thing. But
Yes.
you have now branched out and you said, you know what, I'm going to show everybody else how to do what I do so that they can be successful in what I'm doing. And I think that is commendable. We don't do that enough. Like, we are not transparent enough. We don't always embrace another enough to help lift this other person, whoever it is. You know, we can talk about it, we talk a good game about it, but when it comes down to acting on it, not so much all the time. And I think that is very commendable, very commendable. We love you, you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Authors Up whenever the next book does or does not come out. And you know, we are always cheering you on. Trelyn says she's proud of you too, Leah.
Yes, my Trey bird. I love her.
You see what Marsha Marcellus said, that she lives in Maryland. And she said,
Oh yeah,
nice to have someone from Maryland. I'll be looking for you.
Awesome, awesome. Francina said many nuggets to take away. Surrender to the details. We are very glad that folks are walking away with some good stuff tonight.
Amen.
We thank Canada for being in the house. Thank you so much. Glad to have you with us tonight. And Love Demonstration Church out of Jamaica. Glad to have you in the house well tonight. Very good, very good. Look, this has just been wonderful for us because we have a personal relationship with Leah, and we don't always have that with a lot of our authors and guests who come on the program. So to see your growth, to watch your growth, and to see the kinds of things that you are doing now, if we had a crown, we would put it on your head.
Yes,
Victoria
ma'am.
would release her crown tonight.
I would give it to you. You are the queen tonight, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say, for tonight, yes, you are the queen.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't let you keep it.
No, she let you borrow it. That's the start. So
that's
I'm not selfish. I'm not selfish.
no, you're hearing it.
That is it for us for tonight. Guys, keep in mind the event on October the 15th. Be sure to get out there and register for the event so that we can get you in the number and we'll be able to get our cutoff. I think our cutoff is the 1st of October, but you don't want to wait until then because, like we said, the venue is not a large one. When we said an intimate afternoon, that's what we meant. So we got a small place for some special people. God knows who you are, and you're going to be in the house. If you want to be in the house, you're going to be in the house. So we are very happy about that. I think that is all for us for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for being with us. We say every week, we'd like to tell you what's going to happen next week, but we don't really know. So you're going to have to just show up like we show up and see what guests we got on, see what goodness we've got for you. Leah, if you would just hang out for a little bit once we close, that would be a great thing. And everybody, I tell you what, this is always a joy. We are glad that you have put us on your radar on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. And we're going to be back here next week. Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are, with a show for you that you're going to love. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So be back with us Sunday night at 7 p.m. for another edition of Authors Up.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, Bronze girls.